how woke you are now. I'm talking about when did that joint hit? Like, bang! Oh my God, what am I doing? Like, when did that happen?
November 23rd, 2014.
Okay.
When FBI, ATF, Frederick City, Frederick County busted in my door. And when all of those agencies busted in my door with M16s while I'm giving my son a bath, telling me to get on the ground. You know?
So where was the mother?
She was there. She was there.
The mother of the child was there?
Yes.
So you guys were in a relationship?
We were in a relationship, and we were living together. She was living with me at the time. And, you know, my son was probably like a year old. You know, I was upstairs giving him a bath, and, you know, they come and bust in the door looking for me.
If you can't hear them, I'm going to put on the... I'm going to put on a closed caption because...
I'm sorry.
It seems like every time he gets to something really sensitive, he starts talking like Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, it's a sensitive subject.
You're putting your Billy D. Williams on. Yeah, she was...
Because, I mean, I'm not even trying to be cool. I was a fool. You know what I'm saying? It was... I put my family in a position where they shouldn't have been put in.
So they busted in, and they were coming for you.
They were coming for me.
Okay.
Yeah. And whatever was in there, I took. I was caught.
Okay.
I was caught. And to be honest with you, it was a relief.
Really?
It was an absolute relief. You know, prior to that happening, I had this feeling. It was like this feeling right in the back of your head where you feel something coming, but you don't know what. You know? So I was constantly, you know, being over precisive with my moves at the time.
So when that finally happened, you was like, I ain't gotta watch my back no more.
I don't gotta watch my back no more. And it was just like a relief. Something has finally stopped me.
So
because at that point, I was knee deep. I was full-fledged into the game. You know what I mean? I was 100% grinding, hustling, selling narcotics. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you were actually making money now?
I was actively making money at that point. I think...
So you was making enough to support your habit and pay your bills?
And pay my bills.
Off
I was off the motto, if I run out, you know what I mean? I just didn't have enough. You know what I mean? I made sure that I had more than enough. Because at this point, you know, I had lost a long-term job. I thought that this was a good idea. I had been doing this. I just ain't been full-fledged in it. And I went full-fledged in it and, you know, met up with a couple of people that I was affiliated with. And they put me in the right, some real ones. And they put me in a position to make some real money. And I just took the opportunity. And I did that.
So what was the charge that boiled down, that sat you down?
It was 150 charges to start off with.
You had 150 charges?
It was 150 charges, yeah. You know how they, I mean, when they come in with all those agencies, they try to hit you with everything so that something will stick.
So it was like a bunch of secret indictments. Like, so they've been charging you. They've been booking you. They
sealed indictments, wiretap conversations, pictures. I'm talking about 5 CDs.
Is everybody finished serving time for this?
No.
Okay, so we'll just take it like that.
Yeah, we'll just leave it like that.
Yeah, because if they was, I'd be like, so, you know, we'll just leave it like that.
Yeah, it was just me and my son's godfather.
Okay.
It's my right-hand man. You know what I mean? It was thinking that, long story short, they were watching him. I was watching the process. And then, you know, there was a wiretap. There was pamphlets full of conversations in print and in CD. You know what I mean? When the feds come, it's a done deal. You know, there's no saying I didn't do anything. The feds came. It was a done deal.
So you just ate your charge and
oh yeah, I ate mine. I ate my charge.
And what they give you?
Luckily, the state took my case.
Oh, nice.
And the state took my case. The feds dropped it because they didn't have what they wanted out of me to pursue a case.
Okay. The
state picked me up. And then he's not really my co-defendant, but my best friend, you know, the feds ended up taking him, and he ended up doing time.
Okay.
You know, so.
How long did they sit you down for?
It was a year process.
So before you even got.
Before I got there. Luckily, I had enough to bail out. You know
Okay.
what I mean? I gave them $7,000 to bail out.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was, and luckily I did it that night, because if it would have been the next day, they would have revoked my bond. So I just happened to scrounge up through all my dealings and what I had, you know, and some of the stuff that, you know, my peoples helped me out with, the money to get bailed out that day. And I was able to kind of, for a year, do whatever was necessary to try to alleviate the ass whooping that was going to come in the courtroom later on, a year later.
So that year, what was you doing? You was just doing
That
drugs,
year, man,
hustling. What were you doing?
At that point, you know what I mean, I started to get a little bit honest. I was like, you know what, I'm probably not going to be selling drugs, because if I try, somebody's watching me, obviously.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed somebody's watching.
You smartened up a little bit.
I started to smarten up a little bit.
Okay.
I was like, let me not do this. So honestly, for that whole year, man, I went to Labor Ready and all these temp agencies. You know what I mean?
$72 a day. That's
$72 a day,
Ready,
man.
baby.
You know what I mean? I had a vehicle. By the grace of God, I was able to keep vehicle. I had multiple vehicles. You know what I mean? From what I sold off to take care of debt to those real ones that put me on. I had to pay that debt because there's some stuff that wasn't paid for yet.
And them real ones gonna come get theirs.
They're gonna come get theirs. As a
As
matter of fact, to be honest with you, you know, the day after it happened, one of those real ones did pull up on me, and we had a conversation. And I was like, "Look, man, you know, I don't know what to say, man. I think the best thing you need to do is stay away from me. And you know, here's the title to my Jag. You know, that's all I got right now. Take that." And he took that. And, you know, I haven't heard from him since, and I'm glad I haven't heard from him since. And it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know. And grace of God, nothing else came out of that. You know, I stopped.
You stopped.
I stopped.
Just did it.
And I didn't know it was that simple. I didn't think I had the option to stop. You know what I mean? With the people that I were affiliated with and dealing with. You know what I mean? But I stopped, and they kind of like left me alone. I don't know if they thought that.
Well, when you're under that federal indictment, when they hear Fed and indictment, they
they
lock you up,
there, you
and
know
then you
what I'm saying?
came right out.
Right.
Woo!
It looks a certain type
I wouldn't
of
have
way.
talked to you either, but
Right.
you know.
It looks a certain type of way.
I'd have like,
it looks a certain type
how'd
of
you
way.
get home?
Exactly.
You know what
How
I
did you
mean?
get home? I paid $7,000. I was lucky enough to get a bail that night and was able to pay it.
So at the end of that case, how much time did they give you? Like after courts and trial or
30
whatever?
years, all suspended to 10.
Wow. How much did you do off that?
I did almost 3.
Almost 3.
I
And
did
how
3
did,
almost.
and how did you do that?
I got an 8507.
Okay, what is that? Oh, I heard of it, but it's better when you describe it. What is it? 8505.
8505, you know, a lot of things to help me because I got drug charges. Like, most of them were drug charges. You know what I mean? It was violent to parole, but non-violent to DOC.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, they had this October 1st new drug guideline. You know what I mean? For people who were non-violent drug offenders. I fell under that category. You know, I had to do, you know, at least a quarter of my time before I was eligible for the 8505.
Okay, and you had a 10-year sentence, so.
And I had a 10-year sentence, so I had to
Okay.
do 2.5. I ended up doing almost 3
Okay.
on that. And, you know, I was denied for that program like 3 times.
They don't give you a reason why they deny you.
No.
They just say, all right, not yet.
Right, you know, I'm doing all this, I'm doing all that, and then, boom, no, and no.
So what were you doing in prison in that 3 years incarcerated? Was there?
Well,
any
I was
more-
incarcerated.
Was you wilding or was you chilling?
You know, at first I started wilding, man. I'm talking about I was selling food, you know what I mean? Selling food that my people sent me, like money that my people's hard-earned money that they sent me. I was taking it. You know what I mean? This is how insane I was. I was taking their food. I was selling it to people for state food, state fruit, so that I can make wine in my cell.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
I know the grind, man. I know the grind. Don't think 'cause I'm behind the camera that I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to tell you, like, I was still insane for a little while. You know what I mean? Then I had a scare.
For a couple years.
I had a scare. You know what I mean? Then I was like, yo,
What was
am
the
I
scare?
doing?
What was the scare? You can't just say that and don't say
They
nothing.
did shakedowns. They did shakedowns.
Oh, but they didn't catch you.
Shakedowns. They didn't catch me. I had to flush everything.
Bunch of fruit.
A bunch of juice. you know, rancid juice that I done put
some
on a
hooch.
heater.
Hooch.
Yeah, some hooch.
Where I'm from, they call it pruno.
Yeah.
Bunch of pruno. You had that fire water or not? Nah, like, come on.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
another story. That's another story.
I'm not trying to get in depth with that, but let's just say I was making prison beverages
Okay.
that were illegal to make in my cell. And, you know, I had to get rid of them, and I kind of lost, you know, my whole almost commissary bag, you know what I mean? And,
commissary is important.
yeah, but more importantly, I almost got put on lockup, and, you know, everything that I was begging the judge to give me was about to be lost. Because once you get put on lockup, I mean, don't even apply for a program. You're not going to get that. That's just going to push you further back. You know what I mean? And then I started to wake up a little bit. You know, I started to wake up a little bit.
So you didn't really catch anything that 3 years?
No.
Like you did what you're supposed to do? You're like a model inmate, or so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, that's my history. I'm really good when the leash is on.
When the leash is on. So you're good with structure, basically.
I'm good with structure. I'm very good with structure.
Okay, so you got the 8507, and when you get it, what happened? Like, what happened? Like, how'd you feel? What was the process, and what was your attitude going into this 8507 thing?
Well, I mean, in order to put myself in line, they don't just give it to anybody. You know what I mean? You got to be doing something, and you know what I mean, to, you know, to put yourself in line for something like that, man. I took every program possible while I was in prison. Took every program.
Were you 100 with the program, or were you doing it? Ends justify to me you were doing the programs to get out, or were you like committed to these programs and like actually listening to what the people were saying?
At first of all, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was doing them so I could get out at first.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I started learning stuff. You know what I mean? Financial literacy. Started learning stuff like that.
I actually teach a
financial literacy. And I was like, damn, this is the same stuff I was doing on the streets for real. You just put a structure to it. You know what I mean? I was doing this. Now I got a name for it now. You know what I mean? I was doing. I did a lot of mentoring programs. I was a part of.
How do you mentor people in prison? Like, would they come up and you talk to them, or?
Yeah, absolutely. You come up, talk to them. You may. It might be religious based. You know what I mean? It might be school based if they need help with their homework and stuff like that.
So they bring them to the jail?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're already in the jail.
Oh, so you're getting
I'm helping other inmates.
The younger prisoners and inmates. Right. Oh, okay, right. Good.
And then I got a job into a pilot program. It's a sewing program that they have up there. It was a pilot program where we took old state jeans and clothes, and we cut them up and we make rag quilts for them for the homeless. You know, on the outside. So we make all these rag quilts. She boxes them up. She sends them to different homeless shelters in the Hagerstown area. And WHAG actually had a news camera come in and interview us in the program. Okay. And I actually got to do an interview with one of the news anchors about the actual pilot program. One of the ladies there, I mean, I don't know if I could say her name on camera. You know, I don't know if that's cool.
You can shout her out, say I love you, whatever.
Shout out to Miss Smith. Thank you so much.
Hey, why not?
Thank you so much, Miss Smith, for everything that you did for me. I never got a chance to say that to you before I left, but you know, you giving me a chance in that pilot program was very influential in me getting the 8505 in order for me to get out and get a second chance. Like, she put me in there, she taught me how to sew, you know, she taught me how to make these rag quilts. She put me in front of camera with WHAG, and my lawyer took that footage.
You know that Montgomery County schooling had something to do with it. She was like,
well, yeah.
she probably was like, well, Leroy is doing better than Menjou, but Leroy don't talk as well as Menjou. Right. Menjou, I need you to do this interview.
And I'm glad that she did that. Right, you know what I mean? Because I sewed pretty good. Give me my credit. I sewed pretty good.
Okay, you got it. You know, I ain't never seen none of your work.
I can work a sunbeam, but you know, she put me in a position to where I was able to do an interview with them, and that was very influential in the packet that my lawyer put together to send to the judge, in addition to the certificates I was getting. So the third time that I applied for the 8505, I got it.
And that was after 3 years.
And that was after 3 years. It's almost 2 years.
Okay, so let's get into that part. And you went to the 8507.
Yes.
Can you talk about some of that experience you had at the 8507?
Oh my gosh, it was surreal, man. To get out of, you know, to get out of prison, to go to a minimum, to segue into Mountain Man. I went to Mountain Man in Emmitsburg in the New Horizon program. In my opinion, that program, if you're ready, it saved my life. It really did. It really saved my life. But I was ready though. A lot of people get the 8505, 8507 and they go through the motions, man. They really just trying to get out of jail. And there's nothing wrong with that. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I get it. But it's so misfortunate that some people do miss the opportunity to work on themselves, to take a half a year to really look within themselves and figure out why they're doing the things that they're doing.
So what made you listen while you were in there? I just want to know your experience, because I know my experience. I want to know what yours is though.
My experience.
What really clicked for you, made you want to pursue all this after you got out of there? You know what I mean? Like what happened in that 190-day process that made you say, "Yo, I'm done. This is so much better." Like what happened? Like what clicked? Like what made it happen?
I started to find out who Menjou was. You know what I mean? In the core. You know what I mean? I had to deal with that, the indecisive, non-confident young man. I had to identify and be honest with myself with some of the behaviors and some of my actions. I had to get past being cool and trying to have the best story in Mountain Men and how good I was doing. Best story and treatment. You know what I mean? The best story and treatment. You know what I'm saying? How good I had it and how I was doing.
How I know that. The statement you just said, the reason why I know that that's a true statement, because I'm like pulling teeth to get you to tell me things that most people would sit in front of a camera and brag about. Like, I'm trying to figure out what was going on, and it's like hard. But at the same time, that's a good thing, because it's like you're not glorifying any of it. Like, you don't feel proud that you was dealing with kingpins and driving Jaguars. Like, I had to pull that out of you. And that's not what this is about. This is about finding a way up and out, right?
Absolutely. This is about finding a way up and out. I use it, that's not who I am. I use it as a point of reference. Mm-hmm. I have to use that as a point of reference because, honestly, it keeps me humble. And it is a little bit uncomfortable to talk about because it is, but it isn't. You know what I mean? Because that's not me anymore. And quite frankly, the more I bring it up, I come to terms with it. But it's embarrassing, man. I was a fool.
You know what happens to me? Even after all these years, I haven't used drugs in a really, really, really long time. But what happens to me whenever I reminisce on my past, I fall into it and I do start glorifying it because I tend to forget about the bad part and just focus on the
good part.
I was chilling, yo, word mother, right? And that's just the way it goes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then when I look at it, shoot, it was all bad, Donnie.
Straight trash.
It was all bad. It was trash. It was trash, Donnie. The people I was hanging around. My thinking.
And you wanted to be accepted by these people.
I wanted to be accepted by these people. You know what I mean? I did things for these people. You know what I mean? For these people
to be
to be accepted by these people, and I don't even know these people for real.
So you got out of there 2 years plus ago, right? And what was the first tools that you gained in there that you put into effect when you got out that made you stay, clean as you are now from that day?
Well, first thing I did was I always carried my Bible with me, my big book.
Okay.
I always carry my big book with me because somebody once said, how are you gonna tell if somebody's pissing on your head and telling you it's raining? You know what I mean? I always kept my big book.
Okay.
Because somebody wise told me to do that.
Nice.
And
the
then
same guy told me it.
Yeah, the same guy told you
too.
He told
me the same thing.
Yeah. He told you in the mirror. But
yeah,
he told me to do that, and I did that, and he also, and one of the biggest suggestions that they had was you need to find a home group, find a service position.
So what's that home group is somewhere you always meet to discuss what's going on with you.
Your home group is a group where that's the meeting that you go to. You know
it's
what
like
I mean?
going home to have Sunday
That's
dinner
like-
with mom.
Exactly. That's where you go to. If you call me Tuesday from 7 to 8, you know where I'm at. Cascade, Maryland. You know what I mean? Highfield Road.
So home group is basically where you go. You can sit down. You're comfortable. You don't have to work. You can go in there, sit down, don't say nothing. You'll be fine.
Don't say nothing. I'm fine.
Okay.
I don't have to say something because you know, what's understood doesn't need to be explained. You know.
So
just the presence alone. You know.
So the things you lost while you was in prison, was it a struggle trying to prove to people that you're doing something different? Was it hard for you to get acclimated back into society? You know, 3 years is a long time.
It is, man. I feel for the brothers and sisters that have to spend longer time than what I did, because that 3 years was a struggle. Not only did I have to reestablish myself in the society as a productive member, financially, I had to get back together. I had to reestablish myself as a parental figure in my children's life. I had to gain the respect and trust from my children and those around me and family members who've supported me through that time. And if it wasn't for my support system, my sponsor in the program and the principals within the program, I never would have been able to do it. I would have been back. I would have been back.
Easy. I
would have been back real easy, because I was at that cusp point to where I was actually starting to feel comfortable in there. As sad as that sounds, like I was actually starting to feel comfortable in there, because I think I got absorbed into what to expect in the routine. I knew what to expect every day. You know what I mean? And I understand how somebody who could have long-term, who've had long-term incarceration get used to a certain routine and know what to expect every day, and then they get pushed out into society, and there's no routine sometimes.
So that after prison program that you went to was like a blessing
so
in disguise?
So important. And the way that they did it, you know what I mean? When I earned my home pass, my first home pass, I couldn't handle anything more than 4 hours. Like, just there was so many different emotions within me when I first touched the streets. I couldn't handle anything more than 4 hours. I could hardly handle the 4 hours that they gave me. From me seeing family members that I haven't seen in years. From being able to actually hold my children. You know
you're a runner.
And I'm a runner.
Lucky you didn't run. I'm happy you didn't.
Exactly. Just all those different things. I can't believe that I'm sitting in a house that I looked at pictures. You know what I mean? I had to look through this house through pictures first. And I'm actually sitting in it. And I'm eating regular food. And it's messing up my stomach, because I'm used to processed foods.
GMOs.
And noodles. Summer sauce.
What is it called? Genetically modified organisms.
Exactly.
GMO.
You know
ramen.
what I mean? Constantly.
Yeah.
You know? I'm glad that they did it that way. And then I worked up to an 8-hour. Then I worked up to a 16-hour.
And you did this by how? Like, how did they,
following directions. It's that simple.
Not going against the grain.
Not going against the grain. Following directions. I was so broken, I had no choice but to follow directions. Because obviously, whatever thinking processes and things that I've done got me there. I knew that at least. But I was also grateful and humbled that I had the opportunity to be there, because I got denied so many times. I was ready, and that's the difference between those who, come out and do well and those that get sucked back into it, man. Just come back when you're ready. This program works a lot better when you're ready. I do know that, and I was just ready, Don. I was just ready at that point. I was ready to make a change. I was ready to give myself a chance.
And that's what you're doing now?
And that's all I'm doing, is I'm giving myself a chance. That's all I'm doing, because I know what my thinking can get me. I know where it can get me. It can get me a 30-year prison sentence.
So how do you deal with those thoughts now, or are they different from before? Like, you don't think the same, like everything changed, or every once in a while you might catch a lapse in judgment, or?
But I don't have to make any decisions anymore. I don't have to make any decisions anymore. That's the beautiful thing about it, is that when you're in a program and you have a sponsor and you build yourself a network, I can go inside my phone and press @ and there'll be a couple hundred names of people in AA. If I don't have the answer, somebody on my phone has the answer, or they can at least lead me to the right answer, or I can talk to them, you know what I mean, and get a better or a change of perspective.
So you just took everything you learned and you put it in your daily routine. So you're not just talking like this when you're in a room full of people that's doing drugs and alcohol. You talk like this all the time. Like, this is what you do.
This is what I do. You got to live it. Because if you don't live it, you fake. And that's a half measure. And we know half measures avail us nothing.
You know, someone told me in the beginning of this journey that I'm taking now, they said that fake it till you make it. And my thing was, I heard it from one of my favorite speakers, Melvin, and how am I going to fake something when my problem is real? Like, I was really doing the things that you got me here for, and you're telling me to fake it till I make it. It's like I'm getting a fake solution to a real problem. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work, right?
Or you're going to give me a real problem to you're going to give me a real solution to a fake problem, because I'm sitting here faking it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. You know, I did that. I tried to fake it till I make it. I tried to rest on my own laurels and principles.
What's a laurel?
A laurel is like a something that you stick to. One of your rules, one of your personal pet peeves that you think works in life. Okay. You know what I mean? And in actuality, you know, it's delusional thinking. So
a laurel is basically one of your past compliments. Like, yo, I'm a tough guy. I'm always gonna be tough,
right?
No matter what I'm doing,
right?
Even though, you know,
exactly,
we're super soft. Like I'm gonna cry when I get in the car type guy.
Exactly. That's a good laurel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do whatever's necessary.
Hey man, I mean, you're so easy to talk to. I'm sitting here looking at the timer on my camera, man. You're at an hour.
Oh wow.
That is
we ain't even get into nothing.
See, like you told I know it was like it flowed so well that like I looked down, I'm like, oh my god, I'm at 59 minutes.
Oops.
Wow. No, that's good. I mean, I see it. Like, you didn't glorify any of it, which was awesome. You know what I'm saying?
It's nothing to glorify, man.
Why would you give somebody the wrong attitude to that problem, right?
Nothing that I did was okay. Nothing that I've done in my past was okay. But I don't let that define me. Like I said, it's a point of reference. I gotta look back to that.
Do you have anything to say to anybody watching you right now and looking for a way up and out?
We do recover. You know, this program works if you work it. You know, and I don't mean that you have to use these principles in every aspect of life. You know, and it starts with the first 3 steps. This is a spiritual disease. Those first 3 steps gives you a relationship with a higher power. I don't care what you call it. You need to find that relationship with your higher power. You know what? You don't need to. I suggest that you find a relationship with a higher power. And you know,
why'd you switch it to suggest instead of?
Because this is a program of suggestion. You know, this is a suggestive program.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not a program for people who need it, though. It's a program for people who want it. You gotta want this. You gotta want to do better.
Because if you need it, it doesn't matter. Because if you don't do nothing behind it, then you're stuck.
Exactly.